The silent scream. The murder that Algeria tried to bury, a full-length true crime story. She screamed, but no one heard. Not her neighbors, not the police, not even the man standing 5 steps away. By the time they opened the trash bag, it was too late. Her body had melted into itself, her face unrecognizable, and her killer was already home, watching the news. This isn't fiction. This happened in Algeria. It was a Wednesday afternoon, October 4th, 2017. The sun was high. The streets were dusty, in a quiet suburb just outside Oran, Algeria. 19-year-old Sarra Benyamina stepped out of her family's modest home to buy milk. She was wearing a light blue hoodie, black sneakers, and had her hair tied in a red scrunchie. It was a 5-minute walk. She didn't take her ID. She told her mum, "I'll be right back." She never came back. At first, no one panicked. Sarra was young, bright, well-liked. Maybe she stopped to chat with a friend. Maybe her phone died. But after an hour, worry turned into dread. Her phone kept ringing, but no answer. Then nothing, no signal, no pings, no last seen. Her father, a retired electrician, began knocking on doors with a flashlight by 10 p.m. Neighbors helped search alleyways. They called hospitals. Police told them to wait 24 hours. That night, Sarra's mother stood on their porch until sunrise, whispering her daughter's name into the dark. 4 days later, a 10-year-old boy was playing near an abandoned construction site not far from the house. He kicked over a black trash bag that looked wrong. It was heavy. It smelled like chemicals and burning plastic. He called for his uncle. The uncle approached and peeled the bag open. He dropped it instantly and vomited on the ground. Inside was a human body, or what was left of one. The flesh was blackened, partially melted. The legs were folded at strange, unnatural angles. The hands had been bound together with electrical wire. There were patches of hair stuck to the inside of the plastic. The smell of gasoline was overwhelming. Melted foam was fused into the thigh. She had been burned alive. DNA confirmed it was Sarra, but the autopsy revealed even more disturbing details. There were bruises around her neck, wrists, and ankles, broken ribs, missing fingernails, evidence of blunt force trauma to the face, repeated blows. The worst part, smoke was found in her lungs, meaning she was still breathing. When the fire started, there was no quick death. She suffered for hours, and then one last horror inside the bag. Police found a message written on the plastic using a piece of burnt wood, greater than one less whore. Sarra was not a prostitute. She wasn't involved in drugs or crime. She was a university student studying English literature. She had a cat named Mina. She'd never had a boyfriend, so why? The community demanded answers. The police gave them nothing. Local authorities ruled it a personal dispute. No arrests, no follow-ups. They didn't release the surveillance footage from the store. Sarra was heading toward. They didn't ask for public tips. People started whispering. She knew something she wasn't supposed to. Someone powerful is behind this. They're covering it up. A journalist named Amin Larik tried to investigate. He published a short column asking why no suspects had been named. That week, his article was pulled offline. He received a warning greater than drop. The story? It's bigger than you think. Privately, Amin met with a retired forensic doctor who had been shown the crime scene photos. The doctor described it as ritualistic, not just murder, a message. Who was the message for? 1 year later, in 2018, Another girl vanished. In a neighboring town, same age, same build, burned, left in a plastic bag, no name released, no case opened, and again. The police said nothing. Today, Sarra's family no longer lives in Algeria. They fled the country in 2020. After receiving anonymous threats, her mother still posts photos of Sarra every October 4th with one word beneath. Justice, but justice never came. No arrests, no leads, no truth, only silence and a scream no one ever answered. If you're hearing this, you're not supposed to forget, because someone wanted you to. Title: The House That Wouldn't Forget. It looked like an ordinary home. Old paint, broken fence, quiet street. But what waited beneath the floorboards wasn't ordinary at all. It was a graveyard, built in silence. A place where screams were swallowed by concrete, and memories never died. April 2015, Constantine, Algeria. It started with a smell. A retired schoolteacher named Fatiha Rouini called the police to complain about a rotting stench coming from the home next door. She said the windows had been shut for over a year, that no one had seen the owner Samir Muzian for months. Police knocked, no answer. They circled the back. Door chained shut, they broke in. The air inside was dense. Mold, rot, something. Worse, every room was pristine, except one, a locked metal door in the floor of the pantry. They forced it open. The stairs creaked like they hadn't been touched in years. At the bottom, a basement with no light, no windows, no exit, but the one they'd come from. What they saw didn't belong in this world. Blood-soaked concrete, chains bolted into stone, plastic bags, bulging, leaking, and in the far corner, a small wooden chair with tiny straps on the arms. Above it, dozens of children's drawings taped to the wall, stick figures, screaming faces. Children inside cages, some with red X's over their mouths, some without eyes. Then came the bags. One contained bones, snapped and blackened. Another, 2 small shoes, both melted at the soles. A third, a school book, still legible. Name written in child's handwriting. One bag had a face, not a head. Just the skin of a face, folded like laundry and scattered across the floor. Human teeth, tiny. Milk teeth, so many that officers stopped counting. Samir, Meziane, age 46.X-nurse. Divorced, no children, no criminal history, no complaints. He volunteered at a local mosque. He helped elderly neighbors carry groceries in his bedroom. Under his bed, a journal, wrapped in a child's shirt. Inside, 17 names, ages between 6 and 14, diagrams of rope knots, notes like greater than noise, stops at 10-minute with the jaw pinch, burn in bathtub to contain smell, never on Fridays, spirits too active, and one phrase repeated over 50 times in different handwriting styles, greater than they can scream. But the walls don't talk. Authorities closed the case. Before it opened, they sealed the home. No arrests, no official press release, but 2 officers resigned within 24 hours. One moved to France, the other took his own life. 3 weeks later, the cover-up was perfect, except for one thing. 2024, the house breathed again. A local construction crew was hired to demolish it. But when they broke ground, they found another door, buried under the concrete, hidden beneath a false foundation behind it. was a second basement, not on any blueprint, soundproofed padded walls, still cold, and in the center of that room, a recorder, plugged into the wall, still blinking red. They pressed play, greater than children, crying, whispering prayers in Arabic, one voice screaming over and over again, "Mama, he's back, he's back." He's then static and a long, wet, dragging sound. But here's the thing, when they reviewed the footage from the body cams of the demolition team, no recorder was ever shown in the room. No wire, no plug, nothing. But the men swore they touched it, heard it, one of them, VOMITED. Another refused to return to work, and the next night, the blood came back, seeping through the walls, from the same cracks. They had sealed with no source. The neighbors say they now hear children crying from the drain pipes, and every Friday at midnight, single knock, from under the ground, the Algerian Trinity used after the third story. As a chilling closing punch for the full video, they happened in different cities, different years, different faces, but the patterns are the same. The silence, the sealed, reports the missing bodies, and the same echoing words whispered by survivors, witnesses, and those who've